Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. This is the campaign discussion, so if you want to know our initial impressions, or not initial, we were a few games in, you can check our other discussion, but this is after the entire campaign for Jaws of the Lion, and don't know how long this is going to be, because this game is fantastic. It's so good. These characters are so badass. Out of all the characters I've played in Gloomhaven, which I have physically played just the Brute and the Sorceress, and then, or Spellweaver is whatever they're called, and then the Red Guard. But I've actually, on Steam, I've played the Mind Thief, I've played the Cragheart in person as well, and the Rogue. This Red Guard might be my favorite.
Oh, yeah. I think we teamed up well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the symbols the elements didn't match up sometimes.
Right.
But as far as you would pull them, I could push them.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with a lot of obstacle damage and pushing people. And when they were against the wall, just crushing them with my tiny stature and my mech suit.
Right. And then just the fact that, you dealt bigger damage and I chipped damage, and then also just my health pool and my card pool was bigger. Throughout the series, though, it was weird, because, I only had one more card than you, but, you would go down. I don't think I went down a single time.
I always have, I think I only did one time this whole...
No, because you went... No, I think at least 2 or 3 times.
Well, a lot of it's because this card comes out of my hand, gives me 8 cards.
Yeah.
Once I go to my mech.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems like once per deal I end up using my bomb.
Yeah.
And that takes another card out. And then it just kind of...
Right.
No,
but, besides that... Well, that's actually another point, because I don't think we even knew about those until... and whenever we did our first discussion. I think it's so freaking cool, and I hope Frosthaven has something like this, where the characters have a second form, almost.
That'd be pretty neat.
Mine as the Red Guard was kind of stupid. Sand! Like a sand devil. It would have worked maybe if I had built him a little bit different. Because I saw the synergy with his sand of you move it, because it just stays out. Mm-hmm. And then you just use it to move people into your spot so they get burned, and then you move them out, and then you whip them and you pull them back in. I see the theme of how it's cool. It just didn't quite work for me.
Well, it was hard because those couple of scenarios we did after you got that, not immediately after, but we had the swarm one.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, it was just...
Right, because it could only carry one.
Right.
So it was oh yeah, I got one of the 7 that are surrounding us. Yippee. But your mech is just so
As long
cool.
as it didn't take a card out, because I always waited until I could max out on that 10, because it says heal 10, and my max hit points go up by 5.
But yeah.
So when I was at 5, or 15, that means my maximum would be 20, so once I got down to 10, then that's when I'd put it out, so I'd get the most out of it.
Which makes sense, but it's super slow,
yeah.
to bring it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that that's a really cool extra element to the characters. The fact that they just now have something new. It's just cool to see something new open, and all it is it's a new card with really no more rules than adding another card. What are your thoughts on the campaign as a whole?
I liked it. Well, and I kind of come at this with a little more admiration for this game. Yeah. Mainly because I didn't like Gloomhaven until I started playing this game.
That's
and
true.
Went through the tutorial.
Yeah.
So this game and the tutorial, which is the biggest thing of this game, I think that was the improvement.
Yeah.
Got me big time into Gloomhaven, where it's a top 5 game now.
True.
And I've actually played Gloomhaven more than you have, as far as the original deal.
Yeah. Probably, you might still have played more games of Gloomhaven, because I've started
51.
Yeah, that was more, because I've started other campaigns.
Yeah.
But I still don't think I'm as far. I don't think I'm that many in.
But anyway, so coming at it from that, it's just great, and it's just more Gloomhaven. The book is a massive improvement
and
as well.
Gotta give credit where credit's due. At least Isaac wasn't like, oh, sorry, everyone likes it. Well, sucks to suck. Like, they're gonna make the books for Gloomhaven and Frosthaven, but still do the tiles, because some people do like the tiles more. But the book just makes, because the thing about this game is it's setup and teardown. It's like, oh, well, Gloomhaven's only $100. No, it's really $200 because you need an insert. Like,
or unless you have space.
If you have space to keep it out,
like I do,
but that is few and far between.
Yeah.
I feel like even I don't keep it out, and I technically have the space, but I play a shit ton of games, so I'm like, it's never staying out. So the insert you need, but man, the book, it's just like, fuck these tiles. Like, boom, where are we? Oh, we're on 61. Boom, done.
Well, and the story itself, going back to just the campaign.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Gloomhaven. You know, it wasn't without its bad scenarios, just like anything else. I mean, we ran into that one where the last one I think we played, where the things just kept dying, and it was like the blood. It was when we were the scientist guy threw us into the fucking room and stuff. You know, and that one was kind of a bad one.
It made me so mad.
Yeah, but when you have a scenario game, I mean, they can't all be great, you know.
Right.
And
I mean, if we did about 17, 18 scenarios, and we can only think of like one.
There was one that we actively disliked. There was some that were
like, There was one where it was kind of like we had to destroy like the pillars and then the rooms unlocked, and that's just like, oh, whatever. Like, but even then, those weren't as frustrating.
Right.
But the one where it's just like, oh, okay, you survived that, and you have 3 cards left? Here's more! It's like, why?
Yeah. But, you know, I enjoyed it a lot. And just it getting me to enjoy the game, or the system as a whole.
Yeah, the whole crux of literally this Gloomhaven being on your top 10 worst of the year, 1 year, to a top 5 game solely based around the tutorial system.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing. Like, a friend of mine, he has Gloomhaven, he loves the game, but he never gets his copy played unless I'm playing it. And his girlfriend, she was like, I want to give it another shot, and I'm like, you need to tell him to buy this. Like, if it's rules, if it's like a rule dump that's coming out, and that's just, you're just totally checked out, I totally get that. Like, Gloomhaven is a monster of a game that I've played it. It's probably one of my most played games, and I know for a fact I don't get every rule right. I don't bother myself of making sure every meticulous rule. It's like, okay, what makes the most sense for this enemy to do? Okay, he'd probably attack you, or he'd probably move this way. Like, I mean, I've house ruled a few things of, summons. But technically, summons are supposed to be rules based off monsters. They are just mindless, they do whatever. And I'm like, absolutely not. They're my summons. I'm going to control how they move and who they attack.
Right.
So it's like you can do stuff like that, but like I don't know why he hasn't pulled the trigger. I'm like, you will get Gloomhaven played if you buy this. One, because it's not 90 scenarios before we're done. It's 20. And 5 of those are the tutorial.
And it's just that, like, because the tutorial wasn't boring. Like,
no,
it was fun. They started you out with these certain cards, and then they taught you just learned it. It was perfect the way they did it.
Right.
I mean,
I think the first scenario is even like, hey, play these 2 cards first.
Because the hand management, I hated that. That was one of my most hated things.
Yeah.
After playing it 2 or 3 times,
right.
You know? And then it just needed something simple.
Yep.
Just a little show me.
Yep, because you start with these A cards, and then blue, it tells you exactly, hey, this is what this means.
Because you had played Gloomhaven a lot more than I had at that point.
Right.
But you can attest to this. I mean, those first scenarios we were using that weren't super boring, were they?
No, not at all.
Right, that's what I was saying. Like, even though it was telling you,
right,
it was like the kindergarten version of the cards.
Well, because it teaches you kind of the synergy of the characters. And Gloomhaven, I think I'm pretty sure I have a top 10 deep games, and Gloomhaven's on that list because these characters are built in layers. So it can be frustrating if you're playing the characters and you're leveling up and they're not synergizing well, and you're like, man, I feel like I'm really struggling. Well, the tutorial allows you to understand how the character is supposed to work for people who can't see that.
Right.
And I mean, the beginning of the campaign wasn't like god tier. It was as
Yeah.
good as the beginning of regular Gloomhaven. Your mercenaries who are at the inn of the Jaws or the Sleeping Lion, who get hired by the guard to investigate something in the sewers. Now, with that being said, what I don't recommend is playing 2 or 3 scenarios a month. Because, like, to be completely honest, I have no idea what the story was. I don't remember. Just because we would play 2 or 3 on, like, one day, record them, and I'm like, okay, I'm caught up. A month goes by, and I'm like, I don't fucking remember. So I don't even know who the hell Roland is.
He was a guy that was on the dock, I believe. That it almost needs to be one of those things like, well, for the sake of us running these deals, you almost, since they have the you almost need to like write notes and be like, okay, let's listen to the prior 3 stories just to get caught up.
And we did that a few times.
Kind of like a previously on.
Yes, yeah. I mean, and I wish these campaigns had that where you could like go online or you could find somewhere where it's like the story so far. And if we're like, oh, we're doing Red Twilight, and before we read the case introduction or the scenario introduction, we can read everything that we've done up to that point, which might be hard. Well, no, because the side quests aren't necessary, so it's not like they're going to be spoilers of those.
Right.
Those shouldn't tie into the story at all. So there shouldn't be, and because these are linear, well, at least maybe Jaws of the Lion is linear, Gloomhaven isn't. So it might be rough to try and do something like that.
I think if you just kept the log, had a little notebook, and wrote down, we did 17, and the one, but in order.
Bullet points
and then just, before you start playing, it wouldn't take 5 minutes to just run through the last, the before and after of each scenario, just so we know where it's at.
Yeah.
Or something.
We were hunting Roland down. I remember that specifically. We were going from place to place to try and figure out where he's at. We finally get here at the end of the campaign, and he has some master. I remember that he was trying to summon some blood god. Yeah, the blood god or blood demon, and he had this weapon, and I'm like, oh fuck, there he is, and that should be some epic moment where he corrupted all these people, and then we show up and beat his ass. We've been looking for you for a while, Roland. Yeah. Like, you should have showed up when we were weaker.
Because we've probably been playing this campaign for a year.
I think so.
You know? So.
Just by... yeah, and it flies by, like I'm not even finished with regular Gloomhaven, and that came out in 2017.
Nope. I need to. That's why.
5 years ago.
I'm like, I gotta hurry up and get this done before Frosthaven gets here. So.
Yeah. But that would really be my only negative, and it's not a negative of obviously the game. It's more just a cautionary thing of if you want to play a game like Gloomhaven, even Jaws of the Lion with its tutorial system, probably you could do a scenario a week. You'd probably keep it fresh in your mind. 2 scenarios a week or something. And then you'll really burn through it. But then you'll be like, oh man, we're already done? Okay, well fuck, let's play Gloomhaven now. Because after this, you can play regular Gloomhaven.
And these characters can go into Gloomhaven and Frosthaven and all that stuff.
Yep,
so
they certainly can, and it's like,
yeah, do
I want to bring my Red Guard?
Bring your Satan into the hell has frozen over.
Can they? I guess they could go into Frosthaven.
I think they do. I think they've already said that all characters can move over.
Even Gloomhaven characters, like they're all interchangeable.
I think I remember reading that.
Okay,
that they're.
Yeah, hell is frozen over, and he's just like, all right.
I'm pretty positive. I know these can for sure, and I'm pretty positive they said.
I don't see why not. Based off the pictures I've seen of Frosthaven stuff, the characters obviously look different, but the cards look the same.
Yeah.
I think this is a testament. Like Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion has set the bar for meaty campaign games of include a tutorial system. Like there are so many campaign games that are coming out, like too many to even keep track of, that go by the wayside because people don't want to learn another 30-page rulebook.
And if the dude doesn't automatically put that into Frosthaven, it should automatically. The first 5 missions or 4 missions, whatever, Frosthaven should be just like this.
That's true.
It would be done because not everybody has this. Not everybody, there's a lot of people, obviously, from the Kickstarter went over, what, 13 million or whatever it went up to, that haven't played Gloomhaven necessarily.
That's true.
You know, that would be...
Yeah, and just the fact that this went to mass market, like that people can just pick up, and then Gloomhaven sales just skyrocketed because people knew how to play and liked playing it. Yeah, that's a good point. I really, really hope that Frosthaven has a tutorial system just like this. There's really no reason there shouldn't be one.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, he came out with this game mainly because, I think, to bolster the Gloomhaven.
I'd hope so.
You know, I think that's probably why it went mass market. I think that's why it had that. I think it was just like there was probably enough complaining about trying to learn or difficulty or emails.
And he also had the money, like to if this flopped and didn't sell well, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever. But obviously it did.
You can get it for $30 at Walmart right now.
Yep.
It's not bad.
So it's an absolute must. Like, I can't. This isn't one of those things that I'd be like, oh well, if you have Gloomhaven, you don't need this. Nah, get this, because the story is still good. It's not amazing. It's not the most enriching story, but the characters are a blast. Even two of them.
We haven't even used the hatchet. I hear the hatchet's
awesome.
That's
what everyone's favorite is. I was about to say that. Everyone's favorite is hatchet, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he does.
Well,
I'm assuming he throws hatchets.
I want to pick this up.
Yeah.
I mean, not because I maybe even to play that through again with the other two characters.
Right.
But then I mainly want to have this as an option for
regular Gloomhaven or Frosthaven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating because what's cool about this, and you see it especially whenever it's all said and done, whenever we finish the campaign, where they didn't pull any punches. They didn't. This isn't Gloomhaven Light where they give you half the game. Like, they give you everything to it, and so they give you city events, they give you cool, unique items, they give you side quests. We happened to do one of mine, like, that I didn't even realize, and it was the steel ring, which was amazing.
Yeah, we would have done mine next if that wasn't the final idea.
Right, which we had no idea. And I guess that is kind of a slight bug. Like, it's like, I didn't know we were done. Like, because other campaign games and video games especially are like, hey, point of no return. Like, if you're doing this, then the game's about to be over.
Which is probably nothing. You could treat it like a lot of those open world games. It's like, okay, you beat the game, now you can still roam the world and do stuff. So, we could probably have played
that is true.
The side quest.
You're right.
Because it does just to finish the story.
Yeah, it did give us rewards and stuff. Like, theoretically, yeah. And so that's why I was confused, because I was like, well, the narration made it feel like it was over, and the fact that we didn't get a new location, I'm like, okay, we have to be done. But it's like, here's money and here's XP. Wait a minute. Why are you giving me that if the campaign... I would have just liked more of a hard, like, definitive, you're done. That was, thanks for playing, Jaws of the Lion. But other than that, I mean, that's really... I'm stretching at that point to think of something. So yeah, definitely pick it up. It's fantastic. I really believe... Unless you're one of those people that's just super adamant and hating Gloomhaven just to hate it, well then, one, grow up. And then two... if you're not one of those people and you're on the fence on Gloomhaven, you're like, it's $100. Yeah, I get it. $100 is a lot of money. Grab this one for $30. You will get the exact same experience.
And then you'll go buy Gloomhaven.
And then you'll go buy Gloomhaven. You'll get the insert so you can play Gloomhaven. And then you'll find Frosthaven. And then that should be...
Buy Foreteller. It's just...
that is actually... Thank you for bringing that up. This Foreteller is becoming such a staple.
It is.
That, one... I have done it for Madara. I have done it for regular Gloomhaven. There's something else I did it for, but it is, I don't know why, but Foreteller for Gloomhaven and Jaws of the Lion is vastly superior to everything else. Like, it does sound effects, it does voice acting. Like, Madara is just a lady reading it.
Icefarian Guards is going to be acted.
It is.
Yeah, and then
I don't know if they have to pay more, because is it people? Is it?
It's actual voice actors.
So is it Foretellers voice actors, or is that just they hire people in? Okay.
Because Icefarian Guards is going to be like that, and then there was another one that they were talking about. that they were talking, had the voice actors in and were doing stuff. I can't
Okay.
remember. It was something that I had backed or something at one point.
Because Madara, and even with Madara, even though it's not super exhilarating, that is Madara's a book.
Oh yeah,
and I have 30-minute episodes of Madara of us just sitting here listening to it. It's insane. But so with Madara and with Gloomhaven, it's a must. Like these games, you're just that much more engrossed.
Just think about the big games, because they only do like really big games generally.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some small, but it's like $15.
That's it.
Person, people are it's just software. It's a $15 you get the files.
Exactly. Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
it.
they can pay all that, and the upkeep isn't much.
I mean, the smallest game is probably Above and Below.
Yeah, I would think
that's
so.
on it.
Yeah.
And I haven't listened to that one yet, but I mean, now Ryan Lockett Games are getting in on it. Obviously, Frosthaven is for sure doing it. Thank God. Like to be honest, if I had to choose between the Gloomhaven Helper app and Frosthaven and Foreteller, I'd probably choose Foreteller.
Oh yeah.
Because the Helper app is a luxury, and it sucks that it's not going to be in Frosthaven. But didn't Isaac say they're looking at other options?
They were talking about it.
Okay.
Now whether it's
I remember they're saying, hey, that's being discontinued, the Helper app, but he's going to find something else. So I hope that that's the case, because honestly, that is one of those things that it's not a deal breaker. It's not like I'm not going to use it or not play Gloomhaven if I don't have it. But man, is it just so much better?
I like it, but I just don't use it.
Yeah.
Like I do the regular old card version. I mean, I know it's more janky and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's how I've done it pretty much every scenario, so I'm used to it either way.
I think what helps with that Helper app for a lot of people is it saves on space.
Oh no,
like,
I agree.
It's like
I think it would be wonderful. I've seen it done online, and people have taken pictures of it and stuff. Is to have like your iPad or whatever connected to a TV.
Oh,
that way everybody can see it, because I'll tell you, when we're doing this, me not being able to see what's going on and who has health, I'm always asking you.
That is true.
You know, so like these people I saw put it up on their screen, so then when the guy enters it, it's like everybody can see what's going on. Number 6 he's muddled and has that, you know, and you can kind of see it.
That is very true. That is a hindrance of the app, is if you're not doing something like that, or it's not on a laptop or an iPad, then it is one person doing it. So I can strategize a little bit better because it's right in front of me, and you're just kind of like, well, this is what I want to do. And then it's like, well, how much health does he have? Yeah, so once again, the Helper app is not the worst thing to lose, but I got nothing. I got nothing. Like, I mean, hell, even if we think about it, Jaws of the Lion, we finished it. We have 5 stickers we didn't do.
6.
We have 6 stickers we didn't do. Technically 8, because we didn't do the Agent of Chaos and we didn't do the greatest job in the world. Oh, speaking of this, I love this. I love this map. Like, I know you don't give a shit about stickers or stuff, but I think it's so cool that, because in the regular Gloomhaven, you just have that tan board, and then the stickers, at least it's kind of appealing because they're colored, but they don't affect the terrain. It doesn't show like the forest, all of a sudden there's like an encampment in it.
Right.
This actually was Gloomhaven, and then you have like your scenarios, you know, changing the map. And if you place them correctly, it flushes out and looks nice, but you're like super, at least I'm super anal. And it's not the easiest to figure out where they go, but eventually you get it. It just looked nice. Like, we can look at it and be like, oh, hey, there's a massive explosion there.
Right.
And, there were 2 9s. So technically, actually, this one is a duplicate. It would have gone somewhere else.
Gotcha.
But
depending on where we went.
Yeah, because this game did have you make a choice at one point. So I just like the really small map that changed a little bit. So I think Frosthaven is going to do stuff like that because they have your settlement. But yeah, like, again, campaign was amazing. It didn't tank. Like, it wasn't like, oh man, this is great. Then all of a sudden we're like kind of done with it by the end. But I have no idea what the story was. Blood God, evil cult, blood God.
Yeah.
And I'm the true blood god. I'm Satan himself. And you're my sex partner, Harley Booms, or whatever you named her.
That killed the guy by
fisting him. You want blood? All right. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your final verdict on Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion?
Well, Gloomhaven, to me, by itself, I mean, I'm gonna put this kind of in the same encampment.
I do at this point.
So like
yeah.
9.5.
Yeah.
Probably. I
Yeah.
mean, story could be a little better.
It could.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it's still it's a top 5 game for me.
Yep.
And whenever we make our lists and stuff, I always kind of clump this in with that.
I do too.
Because this was kind of a precursor into Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
So Frosthaven will be a different story, I know, but
Sure. That'll be interesting.
Because it's going to have a different. It's going to be different. Like
Yeah.
there's some different mechanisms in it that may make that one.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It has to be for those kind of games. It almost has to be so different to warrant being a different like entry in those kinds of lists. I'll probably end up lumping all of them together, but
It just depends on how different it is.
Yeah.
It'll be something we'll see.
yeah.
You know.
But so
Yeah.
same verdict I gave it whenever we discussed it the first time, and it's the same I give Gloomhaven. Jaws of the Lion is a 10 out of 10. That tutorial system, like, it'd be an 11 out of 10. Like the fact that it exists is a testament to gaming. Like, games are coming out that sometimes set the bar, and you kind of compare everything else to them. Like Elden Ring at this point, where it's like, oh, open world games, this is what you got to do, and it's like, it's not that game, so it sucks. So, yeah, staying the same, 10 out of 10, 9.5.
Yeah, I mean that's split hairs. I mean, it
Right.
could be a 10.
Yeah.
It just.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on Jaws of the Lion. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.